Oh my God. We did it. All right, you whore.
Hey, yo.
My fucking light seems really bright, dude. Oh, now it's off. That's not.
I'm in the dark, so we're kind of chilling.
That's as quiet as that light gets, I guess. Okay. We're just having a good time already, I guess, right?
That's it. Your typing skills are out the window. And
listen, you know what? Just throw it out the window. Just throw it out the window. The whole thing.
Dude, just take the whole fucking rig. Just throw it out. Just fucking rinse it down. Throw it out.
That's it, dude. Why do I have it, right? Why do we even have it? I think that's just what it is.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, for you to be on both YouTube and Twitch, like, it is what it is.
Listen. Wow, this looks dope. I'm looking at it right now, like on my other monitor. It looks dope.
No, this looks really good. I have it in front of me, but then I have like
it's
the
clean
thing on the other side.
Clean. I feel like I'm too bright with the. That's better.
Yeah, it's a little fog, like a little.
Well, because foggy. I have my monitor with the stuff pulled up, so it's like all in my fotch, you know, dude.
I mean, I should probably pull up those points too, right? Like,
I mean, listen, I mean, maybe you don't need to. Maybe you just know it. Maybe you just got it all down pat.
Dude, I studied this material last night, and like, we're ready. I'm ready. That's it.
You're just better than the rest, dude. What can we say?
Oh, and you timestamped this shit. Good for you, dude.
Yeah,
Holy
dude.
Shit.
We're late, dude. I'm telling you, we're late.
Very late.
We're not that late. We're like a few minutes late, but it's okay. Mother of Doxies, by the way, is here.
7 minutes.
She's here for the jammies.
Oh, hidden jammies. I see.
That's like the intro into her like entering the stream. Yeah, dude. Listen, you gotta get the little like. By the way, you sent me that boom arm. Yeah. And like, who's paying $110 for a boom arm, dude?
Well, to be fair, the shirt and the boom arm together was like $5 something, and I was like, this man is not paying that. But the boom arm was sturdy. It's for the shirt and it's dope. So
I mean,
I don't know.
I gotta do some research, dude. I gotta do some research.
I have this rinky-dink crappy one like you have. We have the same one, I think. I'm pretty sure you won that in a giveaway.
No,
I'm pretty sure.
I did buy it. This one came with my other mic, believe it or not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have some rinky-dink nonsense. We gotta get rid of this.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I
need something because like I want the mic to be closer to me, but like at the same time, it's like not. So it's like.
Well, then you need to just figure it out.
I'm about to just like legit throw everything away. That's it. Might as well.
Why not? Right. You have water? That's a good idea. I should have done that.
I mean, I had water, but like now there's no getting up. So if the peeing situation occurs, I'm fucked.
Yeah, there's no commercial breaks like on radio or TV, dude.
Yeah, no, because like actually there could be. If you run an ad, I could go pee for two I mean, 3 seconds.
We are still at the beginning of the stream, and any new entrance to the stream, this would be the right time to run it.
It would be.
I mean, if you want to go do it. If you want to do it,
I'm good. You can hit it with like, I don't know, some shit. Like you could sponsor Doritos or some shit later on. Like we're chilling.
All right, cool. It's the Doritos, Pepsi, some shit. I have to say, your camera looks clean.
Dude, I have the Logitech, bro. I have everything Logitech. The only thing I do not like about Logitech is the support system they give you on the fucking app. That shit crashes my computer sometimes and it drives me nuts.
Interesting. I think I need to lower my brightness on my monitor, actually.
That's what I'm saying. Like you look like you're in like a boxed out room right now.
I mean, I'm just gonna go to I'm gonna do it in the nightlight on.
That
nightlight setting.
Whatever you had, yeah.
That didn't.
Whatever you just had.
Wait.
That. Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't know. You look better that way. Yeah. Oh. Wow.
What is this, dude?
I don't even know. Whatever you're hitting, like that's in the mood right there. That's moody.
Like what are we doing?
All right, listen. Like we're already 10 minutes late.
So all right. I'm sorry. All right, welcome to the Greatest Sports Talk podcast. I am Greatness. This is Jay Lamps. Say hello.
Holy shit! Hello.
Yeah, I'm fired up, dude.
I'm on.
You're live.
Fucking Greatness.
Yeah,
I'm on live. YouTube. Holy shit.
You're on YouTube,
What's
dude.
Up?
I wonder if you can get in trouble for this.
Me?
Yeah. Because I know I can get in trouble, right? But I don't give a shit, right?
Why would I get in trouble? I'm not streaming it. You are.
I guess that's fair. Yeah. I guess that's a good point. So
my URL is dead currently.
Oh.
Dead streamer. I'm dead streamer.
Yeah, I mean it's neither here nor there. I'm not gonna go there. Today we are bringing you the first episode of the Greatest Sports Talk podcast. We have a lot of things to talk about, and we're already 10 minutes late, as we've discussed. One thing we will be doing as we move forward, if anybody is out there throughout the stream, we're going to be opening it up. Ideas, topics, things to discuss at a later date. We're going to be doing this weekly on Wednesdays, 8 to 9 p.m. ish. If we run past, it's not, we're not like on the clock here, but our goal is to keep it to about an hour. We will maybe in the future get some special guests rolling. So if you think you're important, if you think you have good ideas, then, get on the line, get on the DMs, and, we'll go through our very intense vetting process to see if you fit the bill.
And inside information. That would be dope.
Yeah, that'd be great.
If you slept with an NFL player, let us know. We can.
Or if you got money for bets and you want to donate and you want to sponsor our bets.
Yeah, there you go.
Or if you want to sponsor my bet, I can't bet in the state of Delaware, so
that's that's the wrong state, obviously.
Listen, I'm paying,
which is kind of funny too because Missouri has the same thing, and I thought it was everywhere. Obviously, New York is new to it, but I didn't know that you couldn't bet everywhere. I thought New York was the only one not to be able to, but clearly there's a lot more states that cannot.
Yeah, it's a lot more than you think, believe it or not. Things we're going to talk about today. It is championship week in the NFL, obviously, right? That's the big topic for today. We're going to talk about the two games, Chiefs, Bengals, Rams, Niners. We're going to get into who we got, what we got, bets, parlays. We're going to get into the whole thing. We also have some NBA talk. We're going to talk Knicks. We're going to talk Nets. We're going to talk the MVP race, potentially. We're not really quite close to the end of the season yet, but never too early to start talking about it. Maybe some dark horse candidates in the NBA.
Hey.
We're going to try to get into some NBA lockout talk. And then we're also going to be trying to get into the Hall of Fame voting that happened the other day.
With that bullshit, dude.
This man, Jay Lamps, is livid. And let me tell you, I'm not happy either. It's ridiculous the way everything's going down in the MLB. But that's for later in the stream. So easy there, Tiger. Don't get too excited. We'll get there. All right. So our first thing we're going to get into of the day is Bengals at Chiefs. Listen, before we even get into anything football, I am pumped for the weekend. I am pumped. You guys all know I'm a Rams fan, so this is going to be major for me this weekend. But first game of the day on Sunday is going to be Bengals at Chiefs. It's 3 o'clock. Look, the story, I think, is going to be Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes. I think that's what everybody's going to lean on here. Going off of history and performance, you have to think it's Patrick Mahomes, right? But, Joe Burr, Joe Shiesty, Joe Thorough. He's hot. I don't know if there's a hotter quarterback right now than him. He's got his ass kicked last week, and he still won. 9 sacks, by the way. Did you know that stat? He was sacked 9 times last week, Jay. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
I was not aware of that.
So twice in the NFL history has somebody in the playoffs been sacked 8+ times and won a playoff game. Joe Burrow was number 2. Donovan McNabb in 2003 was number 1.
After they shamed his ass, after they were like, yo, you're garbage, got to the Super Bowl, and they're like, yo, Donovan takes my guy.
So 2 times in NFL history, somebody's been sacked that many times and still won the game.
That's a special team, though. That's a young, upcoming special team. You got a rookie wide receiver with his quarterback that he played with in college, Joe Burrow's second year. The run game is phenomenal. It's a different team, and they're fun to watch. Out of all of the teams that we've watched over the weekend, that's the team where can they win? Are they gonna win? I think they're gonna win. You don't really know. You don't really know what you're gonna get.
So it's interesting you bring that up because one of the things I've been thinking about is who has the more dynamic playmakers. So in the last 5 years, everybody's been talking about Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes. But who else on the Chiefs, right? Is there anybody else, or is that enough? Are those 2 guys just that good that they don't need anybody else?
They're well-rounded, though. They also have Byron Pringle. I don't know, you can't see and you probably don't watch, but on the betting apps, they have the under-over for a Pringle or for a Hardman. They have those other guys. Those guys sit in the back. They do 20 yards. But, they're important in crunch time because you're always going to be guarding their number 1s and their number 2s. So can somebody else step up? And we've seen it. We have in the regular season and parts in the playoffs, but can it be consistent?
Yeah, that's going to be the question. Who else is going to step up, I think? Because as great as Tyreek Hill is and as great as Travis Kelce is, because I mean, right now, Travis Kelce's the best tight end in football, and there's nobody else that even comes close. There's a couple other guys who act like they're that guy, and at the end of the day, they're not quite at that tier that Travis Kelce is at. And Tyreek Hill is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. But there have been times where they have been shut down. I mean, if you bottle up Tyreek Hill and you make it hard for Travis Kelce, is a Byron Pringle or McCole Hardman or Josh Gordon or Jerick McKinnon, like, are those guys going to be able to step up in this situation? Or does Patrick Mahomes have to step up for them and create opportunities for them? I don't know. I think that they could, honestly, in a situation where they would need to. I mean, you saw last week, I don't know if you saw, but McCole Hardman had a great game. I mean, he did.
He did. He did.
He made a couple of great plays. He had a nice little toe tap around the sideline. He was, shifting, diving. He made a play for the end zone. So I don't know. It on the surface, it seems like it's just Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, but they do have other playmakers outside of those guys.
They were talking about you obviously watched what a great Bills Chiefs. Unbelievable.
It was great.
And they were talking about how Allen was the whole purpose of their offense. It's like pistol, so it's like either quarterback option or hand it off, whatever. Yep. His rushing yards were ridiculous, and they're like, Pat Mahomes doesn't really do that.
What did they do? But what did they do in the beginning of that game? Patrick Mahomes showed he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I can run the ball if you want me to.
Right,
he ran for 40 yards. He was the leading rusher for the Chiefs last week. He had 60 yards. So
the whole thing is they're so well around. He doesn't have to do that, but he can. And then people are like, well, you should run more or you should throw more. They're always gonna have the person to go one way or another. But I mean, that game last week was unbelievable. Shout out to Travis Kelce. That man in overtime, I hit my parlay for $125 because 4-leg parlay. But I'll tell you what, that game was unbelievable. 16 seconds left, and you were like, Buffalo's got this in the bag.
Nuts,
They come down the field, sliding catch, call timeout, sign up for a field goal, and then the only thing I don't agree with, and people are like yes and no, I do not agree with the whole ending on a coin flip. I think both teams should have an opportunity to possess the football. But at the same time, too, you think about it, and it's if I possess the football, your defense has to make a stop. And if you don't, well, you know what? You lost. Why should it come to offense when it's offensive?
Yeah, I mean, football is exactly what you said. It's both. There's 3 facets of football. There's offense, defense, special teams. And I don't like it either, to be completely transparent. But at the same time, it's been going for years, right? That's been the overtime rule. Offense gets a chance to score the ball.
Well, they changed it. They did change it where it was a field goal could have ended the game originally.
Yes.
And then they were like, you know what? The games are going too quick because what happens is you get a nice run back, you get 2-3 plays.
Yep, and then they're in field goal range.
Now 50 yards. But not even that. The kickers are kicking 50 yards.
Yeah.
So it's what?
The defense would they kick up any yards, right?
Yeah.
No. So exactly. I was happy with that change. I thought it was good. It forces the offenses, and you know what? The reason we talk about it is because it happened in the playoffs, and it happened to a set of teams who were on fire offensively. And if the Chiefs went down and kicked the field goal, and then the Bills went down and scored a touchdown, we wouldn't say a word about it.
No.
But there are things that I think we could tweak about it. I do. I think it could be better.
They're also the timing too. They're talking about if the game was to end or the game was to go for the NCAA rules where it's both teams get to possess the football, the score would have been 100 and something to 100 and something. That's the way that the rate was going. There was no shot anybody was gonna just end the game because offenses were just clicking on all cylinders. Josh Allen made a great pass to I don't even know who he threw to. Who was the wide receiver that scored 4 touchdowns that game?
Gabriel Davis, dude. If you had Gabriel Davis in your parlay for +3 touchdowns, you made thousands of dollars on Sunday.
Oh my god. Unbelievable. And
crazy.
Yeah, I mean they were back and forth, haymakers back and forth.
Yeah, I agree. It would have went on. It would have went on for hours. The offenses and the defenses, it would have started getting sloppy, and there would have been a winner, but the game it would have lost its luster. I think at the end of the day. We talk about the playmakers of the Chiefs, but the Bengals they got some guys. They got some. I mean, Jamar Chase is a stud. They're rookie or not. He is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL.
He's been over his yards every time. It's like, can you bet like over 80? Can you bet over 60? Like, can you bet over 90?
Over
100 plus. The man's been hitting.
I don't have the stats in front of me.
Parlays. He went for 106. I believe he went for 106 yards last week, and I bet over 90. That was like part of my parlay, and he had 106. And 106 was the final catch.
Yeah,
like, on that final drive was yard.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's unbelievable. But he gets all the shine, and deservedly so. I mean, the kid's a beast. Yeah. But T. Higgins, man, T. Higgins is no slouch. The dude is massive. He's like 6'4" or something like that, 6'3". He's fast as could be, and I mean, I don't think he gets enough love. And the story for me, I think, is one: can the Bengals keep up with the Chiefs? Right, but do the Chiefs have the defense to slow the Bengals down? Because the Bengals have a high-powered offense. So, is Joe Burrow ready to keep up with Patrick Mahomes? Can the defense of the Chiefs slow down the playmakers of the Bengals? I mean, Joe Mixon, awesome stud running back. Tyler Boyd doesn't get any love, but he was the best wide receiver on that team until about 2 years ago when T. Higgins showed up.
Big fantasy point. Had Tyler Boyd, and when Dalton was the quarterback too, like that duo was good too.
He can pop off at any moment for a big catch. I
have the stat for you, by the way. I have the stat for you. So Jamar Chase went for 5 receptions for 109.
I mean, that
5 receptions.
He's
the ball 5 times.
That's over 20 yards a catch. That's crazy.
21.8 yards a catch. That's just...
listen. That's. You throw the ball to him one time, he's getting you 20 yards. That's nuts. I mean, first down's only 10.
If you play fantasy, like
the guy's a beast, man.
Or the guy that you draft high.
Yep.
Wild.
So the sneaky thought I have here with this game is it could turn into a kicker battle. And you want to know something crazy? I think if that happens, that's going to go in favor of the Bengals. Harrison Butker, he's got the pedigree. He's been doing it for years now.
He's missed a few, though.
He's missed a few the last couple of weeks. Evan McPherson is the real deal as a kicker, dude. He is absolutely money when it comes to kicking the ball. Did you
see at the end of the play, at the end of the drive when he kicked it? He didn't even look. He knew it was it.
He kicked it and he walked away. He kicked it, started celebrating. They drafted him in the 5th round, by the way. So normally that's like a taboo to draft a kicker before the 6th round in the NFL draft. The Bengals took him so high because they just knew he was going to be that good of a player. So if it turns into a field goal battle, advantage Bengals. You heard it here first. Let's go to the next game. We spent too much time on that game. It's going to be good, though. I think that game's going to be really good.
I agree. This
is the game of the week, in my opinion. What's
the game of the week, in your opinion?
Don't care.
Why? Because it's your team?
Of course. If you're not watching for the Rams, you're not watching for the right reasons. Listen, I think...
See, I'm not watching for the Rams, though. I'm not. I'm watching for one player and one player only.
And who's that?
That is Stafford.
No, Matt Stafford.
That is the only reason why listen, Matthew Stafford played for the Detroit Lions, and I love Matthew Stafford. He's a baseball guy, okay? And it was like, he had nothing. He had Megatron in Detroit, but like Detroit, playing for the Lions, nothing. Coming to a team with a winning caliber, a young coach. First of all, I don't know if you even you probably do know, but I saw the other day, they hired McVay when he was 30. They took a major chance on this. He's got all these weapons. He's got a team behind him, and the morale is so high. And for you being a fan, that must be amazing. But
incredible.
Matthew Stafford gets to control all of this, and it's just I got this. I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna march us down the field, and we're gonna win. That's the mentality you need. I love it. I really do.
Listen, you know what? I had my when this all came to fruition over the summer, I was excited, right? I think this deal happened in March or April. I don't remember the exact time, but I was excited. Obviously, the upgrade from Jared Goff to Matthew Stafford is huge. I was a little apprehensive with all the stuff we gave away. We gave away a lot of picks, gave away a lot of capital, but I was excited. And I think the biggest thing coming into the playoffs was, can Matt Stafford hold on to the ball? Can he not throw interceptions? Don't turn the ball over. Be that guy. Because he was a turnover-prone second half of the season when they went on a little bit of a skid. He was throwing some bad interceptions. They played the Titans, a couple teams back-to-back. He was giving 2 or 3 interceptions a game. And that was the big conversation. Can he not turn the ball over? But I'm going to tell you right now, in the playoffs, he is number 2 in terms of quarterbacks. And now I know there's only 4 left, but the one who's first just happens to be the best quarterback in football right now, which is Patrick Mahomes. And I think, he went toe-to-toe with the GOAT last week, and he won. Yeah. The reason that game got close was not Matt Stafford's fault. I mean, that was the Cam Akers had a couple of fumbles. Cooper Kupp had a fumble. The center snapped the ball over Matt Stafford's head before he even called hike. I mean, Matt Stafford is a gamer. He's a baller, and he is out there looking to win the game. And I think that right there is the biggest difference between him and Jared Goff, is just his grittiness and his desire to push forward and get the W.
You get a new wide receiver. They went out and they got Odell. Had Cooper Kupp all year. You end up losing though, Bobby Woods, bro.
Bobby Trees, man.
It's just like that's it. And then you I feel like for other quarterbacks, and you saw it actually. And to be honest with you, I did see it in Tom Brady. Tom Brady had Mike Evans and Rob Gronkowski. He didn't have a Chris Godwin or an Antonio Brown. So it's who else can I give the ball to? Now you're starting to throw to guys who are maybe incapable of performing in a high anticipated spot, and it's tough. So, credit to Matt Stafford too, because you get a new receiver, you lose a top guy. Imagine having all 3 of those guys on the field. That's crazy.
Okay, so
it's a target machine.
I know. Being a fan of the Rams, I know about Van Jefferson. I know how good he really is, but to the person on the outside, they may not know the quality. I mean, Van Jefferson, as of right now, where he is as a second-year guy, is a top-tier wide receiver 3. I think in his full potential, he's a very good wide receiver too. And I mean, he would have been the 4th best wide receiver on this team if Robert Woods was still healthy, which is absolutely nuts to me. Listen, the fact that Odell Beckham has been acclimated as quickly and as well as he's been acclimated, I don't have anything negative to say about it. I was a little apprehensive for the mentality of it. Yeah, but I knew, because there was no strings attached to the contract. I said, if he doesn't fit, he's out. And I think Odell recognized that, and he was like, I got to make this work, because if I don't mesh well, if I don't gel well, then I'm out of a job and I got to go find somewhere else to play. And he wanted to win. And I think he's in the right spot.
You'll fit. If you want to win a championship, you'll do whatever it takes to fit into the mold of a caliber team to win a championship. And I agree. The question that you have on Stafford versus Pretty Jimmy. We fix that and we make it if you don't even know, it's fucking porn star. Okay, so
all right.
And for any of those of you people that don't know, Jimmy Garoppolo was seen dating a porn star, and then all of a sudden the name stuck. Porn star. And but listen, we talked about the Rams, but you gotta give credit to the 49ers too. They're good.
I'm scared,
but
honestly, I am.
But so here's the thing: when they're healthy, they're good. They got a couple of issues going on with their offensive line. Their defense seems to be in a little shambled. Deebo Samuel has been their go-to rushing and catching. He's a wide receiver who plays running back. He got slammed last week with a leg injury. We don't know what the deal is going to be with him. So I feel if these pieces aren't there, I feel the Rams win no matter what, honestly. Yep. But if they are, it's going to be a long.
I think what it's going to come down to, and this is a big reason why the Rams jumped out to a big lead against the Bucs. Can they contain the run? That is their, and I've said it from the beginning, that is their weakness. Can they contain the run? Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to beat the Rams. He's just not. He's not good enough of a quarterback. Tom Brady's the best there ever has been. That's why that game got close. But if the Rams go up 27-3, or that was what the score was, right? 27-3?
Yeah, 27-3.
The Niners are not coming back. Did they come back 17-0 the other week 18? They did. But Matt Stafford threw a couple interceptions.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford has shown in the last 2 weeks he's not looking to turn the ball over. He's not throwing the ball a lot. They are going to try to run, control the clock, control the ball. They're going to get after Jimmy Garoppolo. They have to protect the rush defense, and I think they're going to pull this one out. I'm calling. No, I'm not going to go there. I don't want to get a little early. We got some bets. I'm not going to get into bets yet.
You're way ahead. No, I definitely agree. Like I said, I mean, if both teams are healthy, it'll be a good game. If not, I kind of feel like the Rams do run away with it. But you know what, too? Like, the Rams' passing game has been great, but, like, their run game has been quite stellar, too. You know, getting you had Sony Michel fill in first.
Yep.
He did well.
Yep.
He did well. But now getting Cam Akers back, you get a whole different dynamic for the run game.
I mean, he's dynamic in himself, but the fact that he's fresh. I mean, the guy's played 3 football games all year. He's not played 18 games, and then he's trying to play in the playoffs. The guy's he's got fresh legs. He looks explosive, and
scored a couple of tutties.
If he can hold on to the ball, man, I think he's going to be a big X factor. They had a hard time running the ball against the Bucs, but the Bucs have the best rush defense in the NFL. I mean, they got Vita Vea.
He fumbled against the Bucs.
He did fumble it twice.
Opportunity to tie the game.
He did. The first fumble was like, I mean, you're talking this close, man. The second one, he just got the ball knocked out. All right, we're gonna get into some bets and some parlays in a minute. I don't have it highlighted, but I want your quick take. Okay. Do you think after Sean Payton has left the Saints, now he has quote unquote retired? That has been the report. He has retired from football, but if he has
I don't
not
know
retired,
if retired, he stepped away.
Well, I read somebody said that he retired. I don't know, but whatever the case may be, if now the Giants have hired Joe Shane, right?
Yeah.
Brian Daboll hasn't been linked yet officially, but I mean that's going to be what comes of it, I think, right?
They had their second interview with him. They said it went well. So I would hope, only because, you know, you would want the Giants sort of high offensive scheme, and like that's an offensive guy. So I think that would be a great hire for them, especially if you're trying to unlock the true potential of a Daniel Jones. Maybe Daniel Jones is not the answer. If you're going to ask me if you think Sean Payton's going to come to the Giants, absolutely not. And I'll tell you where Sean Payton's going to go if he decides to take a year off and come back the following year. And it's unfortunate it's in our division. I think he's going to go to the Dallas Cowboys, which hurts so bad. But I think that's where he ends up going. You know, you got Dak Prescott. You have a great running back in Ezekiel Elliott. You got they have Amari Cooper still. You have Michael Gallup.
Yep.
They have the pieces to be a great team. Plus, NFC East is a fucking joke. That division is garbage.
Awful.
So you take a high caliber coach with a team that has all the names that I just listed, you run away with that division 9 times out of 10.
I think I agree. He's not going to the Giants. I just wanted to hear what you thought about it as a Giants fan. I thought a couple of weeks ago it was a possibility, but now that I've seen how he's left this, he's not leaving the Saints to go to Giants. He's just not going to do that.
No.
He does have a connection, but he actually, believe it or not, has more of a connection with the Dallas Cowboys.
So I think he left because he doesn't want to be part of this rebuild in New Orleans. Plus, he's been there a long time, which I get. They had no quarterback. They won 9 games this year. They had no quarterback. Won 9.
And I'll tell you right now, hate or not, if Jameis Winston doesn't tear his ACL, they make the playoffs. I don't think they win much, but I think he would have been good enough. He would have been good enough to get him there. I don't think he's a major difference maker, but I think he would have been able to get him there. By the way, if we're looking at it at the caller line, Just a Tip said he'd rather listen to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck than this, dude. Listen,
no shot, dude.
If you're gonna lie, at least make it something that's believable, right? I mean, dude. Troy Aikman and Joe Buck are awful.
Both of those guys are like nails on a chalkboard. Plus, when Joe Buck does baseball games on Fox, I want to rip my ears off.
He's so bad.
God, awful. Goddamn, terrible. Unbelievable.
All right, so enough of that. Enough of the Sean Payton. Whatever. That was just a quick little sneaky peeky. But
no, I agree. I like it. I'm interested to see what happens. I really am.
The big question outside, there's 2 big questions. We're not going to really touch on Tom Brady. I mean, he's either retiring or he's not. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to join a new team. I don't think
he would leave Tampa. Yeah, no.
He's not going to join. He's not joining a new team or whatever. He's going to go back to Tampa. He's going to try to win again. So we're not going to go there because he's not changing teams.
No.
Aaron Rodgers. What happens from here? Does he leave? Does he stay? Me personally, if he wants his best chance to win, he has to stay in Green Bay.
Yeah.
That team is fantastic. That team is excellent. Yes, they're losing pieces, but you're already in salary cap hell. Restructure some deals, bring those guys back, pay the luxury tax, try to win a Super Bowl. I mean, that's what I'm doing if I'm Green Bay.
Where else are you going? though. Like, that's the thing. So, like, the coach said that he would want to come back. I know that he didn't like the whole front office and how they mismanaged and they mishandled a bunch of things. And I get it. You know what? You're the quarterback. You want to say you're on the field. These guys in the office, they're not understanding what you see because you're on the field. I get that. But you have the best wide receiver in the game. The best. Why were you leaving that? Your connection to him is absolutely ridiculous. Now, if he was to leave, give me a team, hypothetical, that fits him, that would instantly win a championship the year he got there. What team?
I have 3 teams right now off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm gonna go worst to first. The team that I think he's been linked to, and they're close, is the Denver Broncos. They're not quite the caliber offensively. Jerry Jeudy could be a guy. Cortland Sutton could be a guy.
See, I don't know.
But
Jerry Jeudy is.
So that's why they're number 3.
Okay.
Defense is excellent.
Okay.
Defense is excellent.
Defense is great. Defense is good.
Number 2, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Offensive, they would be, and I'm going to tell you right now, they would be an offensive juggernaut. Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson quietly had an incredible season with a shell of a quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger throwing him the ball. Chase Claypool with a good quarterback like Aaron Rodgers could be a megastar. Juju Smith-Schuster could be a slot genius. And their defense is great. Do they still have holes? Yeah, but every team is going to have holes in the offseason. That's just how it goes. I heard this on the radio this morning, and I immediately said, "This is brilliant." This number one team right here. I don't think it's going to happen, but this team is going to. If I'm going to tell you right now, it could be a major. They become the best team in football, arguably, if this happens, because they were already really good without him. The Tennessee Titans. Because what is their major issue right now? It is quarterback.
Ryan Tannehill throws the ball 12 times a game, and they depend on Derrick Henry to run.
And you know what?
If you put Aaron Rodgers on the Tennessee Titans,
right,
bro,
right,
that is the team. That's the team. You have a running game, you have a defense, and you have stud wide receivers, young.
The only drawback of him joining the Titans would be he would have to play the Bills or the Chiefs to try to make the Super Bowl. And that would make things hard. However, if he stays in the NFC, he still has to play Tom Brady. He still has to play Matt Stafford. I mean, he still has to play good players. But is it Pat Mahomes and is it Josh Allen?
That's the thing, though. It's like, that's the thing. Like, you want to win your division, which he does. But then you got to go play teams that are outside of your division in the playoffs, and then you lose. So, like, you want an easy streak. There is none anymore. It's all an even playing field once playoffs happen. Plus, anything could happen in the playoffs. I mean, I tell you what, like, you saw the Vegas and the Bengals game. That game, the wild card weekend, like, that was just ridiculous. One bad blown call, maybe 2, and maybe we're talking about the Raiders, and Joe Burrow in his second year isn't even this far. So
listen, oh my God, listen, I'm seeing some wild stuff going on. I'm seeing Steelers, yeah, 49ers. Listen, the reason I don't see the 49ers being an option is because they now, of course. Listen, you have the chance to bring on a one-of-a-lifetime player in Aaron Rodgers. You would probably do it. But are they going to be as eager with Trey Lance waiting in the wings? Are they going to be as eager to go out and get somebody like Aaron Rodgers, how many years does he really have left? He's 39, 38, something like that.
Tom Brady, bro. So, like,
get him out of the equation because he is an unbelievable specimen. I mean, like, you know.
Yeah, but, like, a lot of players played old, like Brett Favre, Kurt Warner, like, on like the back ends of their careers, and they were pretty successful in the back ends of their careers too.
Listen, that might just be the Rams fan in me hoping it doesn't happen, but I think they would be less likely to just give up the farm, which it would take to get Aaron Rodgers.
All right, so what happens? So now, okay, so like what happens is, I see it here. So like, what happens if he went to like the Vikings? You know, Brett Favre went to the Vikings.
I don't know what his contract situation is. I don't know. Like, so I feel like in the offseason, they restructured his deal so that he would have an out this year if he wanted one.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
if that's true and he gets to choose wherever he goes, I don't think he would choose the Vikings. Like, I don't see him joining a team he beat the shit out of for the last 10 years, 15 years. But they have weapons galore. Their defense is all right. It's not, great, but
I mean, anytime the Giants play anybody, everyone's defense is amazing. So like Vikings defense is pretty good. But they got Dalvin Cook. They have Justin Johnson. They have Adam Thielen. Like you're basically taking a team and like I like Aaron Jones. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't like Green Bay's run game. Like if you added the Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook's top wide receiver, top running back in the NFL. I mean, he's like top 3.
I mean, listen, if I had
Taylor
to pick, it would be
Derrick
Tennessee
Henry.
1. It would be Tennessee 1, Vikings 2.
You think over the Steelers?
I think. Yeah, and then the Steelers would be 3. I think.
The only other reason I think he would like San Fran is maybe to get himself out of the cold weather because clearly he can't play in the cold.
Yeah, but like I tell you what, they invested on Trey Lance.
And yeah, I know.
He's proven that he can play. I mean, obviously Jimmy Garoppolo came back, but proven that he could play in the NFL. So like,
I'm seeing
Jimmy Garoppolo didn't come back next year.
I'm seeing an insane one, and you know what? That might listen. That all depends on what Russell Wilson wants. If Russell Wilson wants out, then all the teams I mentioned for Aaron Rodgers apply to Russell Wilson. I mean, I don't know if they. I don't know. Maybe
I don't think Aaron Rodgers would go to Seattle.
I don't think he wants to go to Seattle either.
Yeah.
To be the next guy after Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's already got a legacy there, you know?
That team is depleted. They don't have a defense. Their offensive scheme was trash. Russell Wilson, the only reason why he was successful this year, honestly, because man was running for his life majority of the time. Their offensive line is atrocious. You know, that man makes plays on his legs, whether he's throwing on the run or he's running it for 5, 10, 15 yards, whatever. So I can't see Seattle being the landing spot for him.
I think,
again, Russell Wilson leaves. Where's he going? Where does he fit in the mix? You know, we talked about it.
Giants?
The Giants. But again, this is the problem.
But okay.
So if you want that,
real quick.
Walk, though.
Why, if you are the Giants, why? Why do you give up draft capital for a guy who you're going to be able to play for 3 years?
So in my opinion, you don't. Okay. But if you did, you got rid of the draft capital because you know what? You feel like you have key pieces. You know what? You just signed a wide receiver in Galladay. You know what? You have Tony as another wide receiver. You have.
I like him, by the way.
Yeah, I love him. I do. I think that's great. He seems to have a good head on his shoulders. It's not like an OBJ where like things got all out of control yet. I mean, listen, there is time people can snap. We've seen Antonio Brown lose his shit numerous times.
What a talent wasted, man.
You have Barkley as a running back who I can't stand seeing run east and west. Like the man needs to run north and south. Out of the running back position. Like, what are we doing? But maybe people feel, and I don't feel that way, but maybe Giants do feel that if you do get a Russell Wilson, the quarterback is enhanced and that could lead to more success. But again, you know what? You don't want to just crawl and like itch for a wild card. You want to win the division, which I don't know if they would because the other teams just feel like they're way ahead and they're more advanced.
That's interesting. You see that come in
I do.
Indy for Rodgers. I mean, listen, there are options out there. I think if you're Aaron Rodgers, I think what it's going to come down to.
But the thing is, so like Aaron Rodgers can probably pick whatever team, but does that team have the opportunity to take him on and get rid of the quarterback in that slot already? That's the other thing too.
I wonder what is important to him. What does it come down to?
Winning a chip, 100%. It's about winning a second chip.
Does he want to win? If that's number one, then I think he's where he's got to be. Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers is nothing. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. But
oh my God.
Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers.
You've seen it. You've seen it with the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, to be fair, he's young, but I mean, there's no comparison.
He's been in the league for what, 3 years already? 2 years? He looks like shit.
Or what I was going to say, does he want the chance to join a new team to have freedom from his head coach and his GM, and does he want to get his money? He's going to get his money no matter where he goes. He's going to get paid. That's goes without saying. He's one of the best quarterbacks in football. But is it winning or is it freedom? What is more important to him? Because after this past choke job that he did, maybe winning becomes more important. And maybe he thinks he really needs to, buck up and figure it the hell out. Because whatever that was that he showed in that game, I mean, he didn't turn the ball over. But, I mean, for a guy...
He put up 19 points, dog.
They scored 10. It was 13-10.
10, yeah.
I mean, you have top 5 offense in the NFL with one of the best quarterbacks, physically gifted, talented quarterbacks to ever play the game, and you scored 10 points. Now, granted,
you have home field advantage.
I mean,
play there.
You play a team from California. They're from California. How are look?
Listen, I get it. Snow and the weather was inclement and like that.
But the weather was just as bad for the other team, and they don't play in the snow.
Yeah, I agree.
Look, if I were Aaron Rodgers, and I'm kind of glad I'm not right now because he's been kind of an asshole this year, if you ask my opinion. But if I was him, I would be bucking up and I'd be walking back into Lambeau and I'd say, let's get this shit done. I'm winning a championship next year, and then I'm out the door. And then I might even retire.
Do you even know the background of this man? Do you know the background?
So, okay, I don't want to get too much into it, but I heard the story about this guy and his family. So apparently he's estranged from his family. And many of us, on the outside at the beginning, we were like, oh, they must not be great, whatever. He's just trying to do what's good for him. But, slowly but surely, we're seeing what kind of a guy Aaron Rodgers really is after this year. He just doesn't care anymore. He doesn't give a shit about what you think. And I think he is going to actually hurt himself for after football with the way he's acted this year if he doesn't figure it out. Now, winning solves all that, but you got to win. What is this? This is a podcast, bro. We talking.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's go to bets and parlays.
Hang tight. Yeah, we'll go to the bets and parlays. Let's hit it. So
who you got? Bets and parlays.
This would be like where like the ad fills in and like add an ad.
So this portion is sponsored by Manscaped.
There you go.
We like clean balls. Clean your balls. Yeah. So
no, it's not clean. Don't nick your balls.
Oh, don't nick your balls. Okay.
Don't nick your balls.
I don't have a Manscaped. They're expensive. Actually, I'm looking into getting a lawnmower 3.0.
Yo, that shit's quiet and it's won't nick your balls. Dude.
Listen, I need to get on that horse.
That's it.
Anyway.
That's it.
Bets and parlays.
I'm listening. I'm here.
My bets. I don't know if you have separate bets, but I have my. I am not big on the individual player parlays, over-unders, things like that. I'm gonna leave that to you because I know you like that.
I do like that.
My bets for the week. Now you can take this if you will, whatever the case may be. You can wrap it up, put it in a parlay, or you can take it and walk away with it. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. My bets for this week: Bengals +7. Bengals +7. 7 is the line right now. And if it stays that way, you need to jump on that because that's a full touchdown that they're favoring the Chiefs for. And I don't know if they're going to be able to slow down the offense of the Bengals. Now, I don't know if the Bengals are going to win this game. It would be nice to see that. I think it would be a cool story, but I think this game is going to be a lot closer than everybody thinks. And I think if you are a fan of betting, I think the +7 on the Bengals is the way to go. I think that game is going to go over. For like 3 or 4 days, I thought the game was going to go under. And then I really thought to myself, who is stopping who? Who is stopping either team from scoring? So I think.
What was the over number you had?
It's 54.5.
Okay.
The over is 54.5. I think they'll be able to cover that. I think this is going to be a game where they both score in the 30s, truthfully. Then we have Rams and Niners. Rams and Niners. Yep. I have Rams -3. I think the Rams are going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it going away, honestly. I know I said that last week, and I was almost right. I said the Rams are going to win by double digits, and they should have won by double digits. They were up enough to go win by double digits. I think that's going to happen again, but I don't think they're going to let the Niners back in the game like they did with the Bucks. So those are my first 3. Oh, and then the over-under. I think this game is going to go under, believe it or not. I think this game is going to be somewhere in the 24-10 range, and that's only 44. It's not going to go over the 46, which is the number that you need to hit. And if you wrap that all into the number, by the way, I'm looking at DraftKings Sportsbook right now in front of me. The number on the Niners Rams has gone from 3 to 3.5. And that in that case, I'm still taking the Rams.
Yeah, I was about to correct you on that.
But if you decide to take all 4 of those and wrap it into a parlay, that gives you plus 1289, which is a very nice bet. That's a real nice bet. If you want to wrap those 4 into a parlay, $100 wins you $1,239 or 89, excuse me. And that, if I could bet in Delaware, that is where I would go. So book it.
Book it. Stamp it.
What do they do? Lock it in?
I'm gonna tell you. So I put like a little risky thing in there. So like I currently have a bet going. And it's a 5-leg. And then I will tell you like a smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
So the 5-leg that I have Rams money line. The Rams win no matter what. I don't care what the score is, whether it's by 1, by 2, by 3. They're going to win no matter what. So I took the Rams money line. I have Matthew Stafford over 274.5 passing.
I like that.
Okay. I have Cooper Kupp over 105.5 receiving yards.
Okay.
I have Elijah Mitchell under 72.5 rushing yards.
That'll be the.
And I have Deebo Samuel also under 42.5 rushing yards. However, if Deebo Samuel does not play, that part of the parlay gets knocked off and my payout is different. But I put $10 down. It was plus 1076, so I would make $117. So not terrible.
No.
However, if you wanted to go smaller parlay, you can do. I would also take Cincinnati plus 7. Absolutely. I would dive into the Cincinnati team itself, and I would go Jamar Chase over his 85.5 receiving yards. And I would also take a Travis Kelce anytime touchdown. Those would be the 3. But $10 down, whatever it is, you're definitely going to make a small chunk for sure.
I like that. So I know I didn't do these. These are not my bets. I'm not going to be doing anything individually, but anytime touchdown scorers are really cool. And it gets really interesting because as a fantasy player in myself, and one that I consider pretty good, I walked away with a nice chunk of change this year. I think Travis Kelce, I think is almost always a lock to score a touchdown in every game. Now it took him till the overtime last week, but I think he's a lock to score pretty much every game he goes out. I think on the Rams side, a little sneaky, snucky, surprisey could be Tyler Higbee. If anybody's interested, checking out actually, let me see what the odds are on Tyler Higbee scoring a touchdown, because that would interest me a little bit, honestly. Game lines, nope. Touchdown scorers. No. We're gonna get there, guys. Touchdown scorers.
Imagine having it on here, but they don't.
Tyler Higbee is plus 1,300. Oh no, that's first score. Anytime score is plus 210. Which is you bet 100, win 210.
Yeah.
George Kittle could score a touchdown in that game. But I think if you're gonna go with anybody, I think in the Rams game, I think it would be Cooper Kupp would be like the obvious go-to. Okay, so you heard our NFL talk. We like the Bengals plus 7. We like the Rams -3, -3.5, whatever the line ends up being towards the end of the week. I'm rooting for a Rams-Bengals Super Bowl, but I don't want to get too much into Super Bowl talk because we'll get into that.
We'll have a whole week. We got a whole week.
We'll have 2 weeks.
Digest it. Yeah,
we'll have 2 weeks
to
talk about it.
True. 2 weeks to digest it, figure it out.
So we'll talk a little bit about the games, next week. A little bit of basketball, if we have some basketball fans out there. We'll talk a little bit about the Nets. We'll talk a little bit about the Knicks, and then we're going to talk about the MVP race and see if we have anything going on there. So, I have not been a very good basketball fan over the last couple of weeks, but I have been keeping my nose on the line for the Nets. I see here you gave me a question. Yeah. As a Nets fan, would I be happy to win a championship this year and the team breaks up, or do I want to see multiple championships to be happy? And I am very two-sided to this because as a Nets fan, we haven't won a championship in my lifetime. So for me, I want a championship. I want a championship right now. I want it. I want it last week. I want it yesterday. I want it years ago. And I think the Nets got together to win a championship. Now, as a guy of basketball knowledge, it feels like this team needs to win more than one. As a fan of the team, one is good for me. But as a guy who knows about basketball and sees what this team is all about, this team was built to win more than one championship. So it's a little double-edged sword for me. I would like to see KD, Kyrie, and James Harden go out this year and win the title. I mean, obviously, who wouldn't if you're a Nets fan? But I'm going to tell you right now.
The only reason why that question was posed was because that James Harden seemed to not have any interest in playing here, so he would want to leave. So now, like you say, like, okay, they don't win this year, and then James Harden goes. Better or does it get worse?
Going back to last year, adding a third megastar, like you're talking about, James Harden isn't just a star. He's not a superstar. He was the best shooting guard in the NBA when they brought him on, right? Kevin Durant, depending on, health, could be the best small forward, power forward in the NBA outside of maybe Giannis or LeBron, depending on what kind of game you prefer. Kyrie Irving is a top 3 point guard in the NBA, depending on the kind of game you prefer. I mean, you're talking about the team they put together was arguably the greatest assembled 3 you've ever seen. I mean, yeah, there's been big threes before, but Dwayne Wade, LeBron James were the top 2 at their positions, but Chris Bosh was not. Chris Bosh wasn't the top power forward. He was probably, maybe 5 or 6, and that was close.
And you could even talk about LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love. Kevin Love wasn't the top position, but like Kyrie and LeBron.
Yeah. So for me, this whole James Harden thing has been coming about, and I think it's been brewing. And he was asked last night what's his frustration coming from? Where is it coming from? Why is he frustrated? And he said, "I'm frustrated when we don't win." Now, obviously, he's playing the game, right? He's not gonna, let too much of his chips, fall without, having his story straight and everything like that. But I think if he is trying to win, where are you going? I mean, to the Sixers. I mean, to play with Joel Embiid. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have a great chance to make the playoffs and to be a powerhouse team. But you're talking about playing with 2 of the most transcendent talents in the league right now, and they're Hall of Fame bound. I mean, Kevin Durant is the best scorer we've ever seen. That man could put the ball in from anywhere on the court. Now, LeBron James, in my opinion, is the best player of all time. But in terms of scoring ability, putting the ball in the basket, now, forgive me if you're an older fan and you've seen Jordan put the ball in the basket, but I mean, I've never seen a guy put the ball in the basket like Kevin Durant. I mean, I don't know. And, Kyrie Irving doesn't have any of those transcendent abilities outside of his dribbling, but there's just something about Kyrie. He gets spacing. Buckets.
It's floor spacing. He does get buckets, but it's also spacing.
He's perfect for what they're like. Those 3, they gel together. They fit together. You saw last year when guys got hurt. They don't like. I'm telling you right now, if 2 of those guys stay healthy, because what happened was James Harden got hurt after Kyrie got hurt against the Bucks. If 2 of those guys stay healthy, they win the title. But something before we move on to the Knicks, something that makes me mad about the way people portray players and stars. Everyone said at the time when the Nets were going to lose to the Bucks, Kevin Durant is the guy. He needs to put them on his shoulders, and they has to win the game. That team wasn't built for Kevin Durant by himself to win. That team doesn't have the ancillary pieces to win with just Kevin Durant. It's not built that way. So when people want to say, "Oh, Kevin Durant needs to just buck up and figure it out and put the team on his back," well, you have to remember that the pieces they gave up to bring in guys like James Harden and Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie Irving was signed in free agency, but they let guys like Spencer Dinwiddie walk this year because they didn't want to pay him because they brought in a guy like Kyrie Irving. They traded away Jared Allen and Karis LeVert to bring in James Harden. Those guys, if they were there and Kevin Durant had to carry the load, that's a different story. He's got some better pieces around him. So for all those who say he needs to do that, shut the fuck up. That's what I say.
Oh my God.
MVP race. Oh, I'm sorry. Knicks next. Knicks talk. This is your scene. You guys know how I feel about the Knicks. You guys know.
It's awful. It's awful. So currently the Knicks are playing right now. They're losing 59-46. It's the Miami.
But Miami, okay, Miami is like the 3rd best team in the East right now.
Yeah, no, they are.
They're a good team.
So that's the thing. It's like, what Knicks team are you going to get? We all know, and it's a proven fact, that if the Knicks have a Sunday night or Sunday afternoon matinee game, it's a loss. Just chalk it. It's automatic loss. They don't get up for those games. They also don't get up for the games that they're supposed to win. You know, you lost a heartbreaking loss the other day to Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm like, they're dog shit. Then like they'll go out and compete with like top caliber teams, and then you're like, holy shit, they're good. I'll tell you what right now, like you got Julius Randle on your team. That man cannot be the face. Can't.
Told you that from the beginning.
Why? He literally did not show up for the playoff. Now, okay, being the negative person that I am, like you go down, see like what we got, and yes, you know what? I was a fan of when they got Kemba Walker, but then the antics that he's pulled, and like he sucked, couldn't play him, and he took him out of the rotation. Sat.
Looks good now.
It is what it is. Yeah, but you know what? And you need that. He currently has 6 points, and it's halftime points. He needs the point guard. We need somebody to take care of the rock. Fine.
That's been the issue for years now.
The youth, my friend, they're getting younger, and like that's the way that we need to trend. It's not trending down in a bad way. It's trending down and get younger. They just recently acquired Cam Reddish. Why? You got rid of a Kevin Knox and a draft pick that wasn't ours anyway. It was Charlotte's draft. But Kevin Knox proved he can't hang in New York.
I don't think he's going to be able to hang in general. I don't think he's like a deep rotation player in my opinion.
Very deep, very deep. But Cam Reddish proved as a Hawk that he can hang, slamming threes. However, now you add into the wrinkle that he's played with R.J. Barrett in college together. These two have some sort of chemistry. Mitchell Robinson, I love Mitchell Robinson.
Yep.
Great rim defender. Okay, guy goes up for the lob, slams it, and when he comes out, Obi Toppin gets some love. A guy who can also defend and throw it down when necessary. You have the veteran leadership of Derrick Rose, Kemba Walker vibe. No one's talking about, and I love to see it, is my man Quentin Grimes. Man's been spotting up, banging threes, making things happen in his limited minutes that he's been given. And you also signed in the offseason Evan Fournier, which I think is great because that man hits threes and hit a couple of big ones for us.
Yeah.
And that's why they currently sit 23-25. It's a 500 team. They're going to claw. They're going to back their way into the playoffs, I think, as like 8. And if that was the case, I think you need to go back to the drawing board. You need to redraft. And I'm not going to say it right now, but like we're going to get a big 3 because we're going to get Zion Williamson, just saying. And then that's it. That's it. We'll see what happens. I think you get rid of the old, you bring in the new, and like, no, like again, like I can go through this whole list. Like I have the whole list in front of me. Emmanuel Quickly, great. Okay. And then like there's some other guys that's like whatever. Like I don't know. Like I haven't seen much of like a Jericho Sims or Nerlens Noel was good and like he doesn't really play. He's more of a rotation guy.
I think it on the outside looking in, not a Knicks fan. So I have my feelings towards the Knicks. I think my feelings are not towards the Knicks. It's more towards fans who, not like you. You seem like you got a pretty straight head on your shoulders. But I have a hard time when fans of teams, they want to rush what's happening. The Knicks are not in a position to compete for a championship yet. But, like you said, I think they are not far off. I think if they play their cards right in the offseason, I think if they make the right moves, bring in certain guys on shorter-term contracts, build the youth, like you said. Let Reddish grow. Let R.J. Barrett grow. Let these young guys.
It's RJ's team. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
You gotta let these guys grow and become talents. Right now, they're still prospects, believe it or not. I mean, they're only 2 years in the league. They have not proven that they could be carriers of a team yet. And they need to do that before they try to make the jump at winning a championship. The Knicks, the last year was a nice story, but the issue was they played as hard as they could every single game. And that's great. Don't get me wrong. But when you play hard every single game and you walk in as the 4 seed and your best player is Julius Randle and you're going up against a team, could be any team in the East. When you have teams that have 2 to 3 superstars running out there, they're going to play their hardest come playoff time. You know, maybe when you beat them in the regular season, they're not playing their hardest because they're trying to keep their guys healthy.
Yeah,
but you know,
guys come out or guys sit out games, and
Tom Thibodeau doesn't play that. Tom Thibodeau is one of those coaches. You play your ass off every single game, or you're not playing.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. he coached the Bulls, had the Derrick Rose thing. Like, Derrick Rose got hurt, freakish injury, of course. Don't get me wrong, torn ACL. But, you're trying to like tap into guys' max potential. And like you tap into it, but how much of that can you ride those guys throughout the year? I thought Greg Popovich was a great coach. Why? He had like Tony Parker, the Manu Ginobili's, Tim Duncan's, where Kawhi Leonard at one point. These guys sat a game or two, and he was just like, whatever. Like, I really don't care. Like, that's the way that I'm going, and like that's exactly what's going to happen because I'm the coach.
Now, I am not gonna sit here and be on my pedestal and say I love load management. I don't love. I mean, you want to see guys play every game because you just want to see that as a fan. But if I was running the team, and if my end goal was to win an NBA championship, and if I have to ride my guys all season, every single game, and I see these other teams with these high-powered offenses and superstars, and they got guys sitting games here, games there, they're not worried about winning every single game that's out there to win. Their goal is to get to the playoffs in some type of a higher seed so they have some advantage in home court. They put their best team out there and they fight and they're healthy. So, it's hard to say the Knicks are there. And you're not oblivious. You're not stupid. But I think they need to be patient. I think they need to let these guys grow. And I think they could, in a year or two, make some noise in the off seasons, maybe make the team become a team that people want to come play for again. Because over the last 20 years, ain't nobody want to come play for you. Because you've been the laughing stock of the NBA. Now, the last couple of years have been nice. People are like, oh, this team is pretty good. They're coached well. They have young guys. They're trying to do it the right way. Do it the right way. It worked out for the Nets. It's working out for the Nets. They haven't won a championship yet, but the Nets, they played it slow. They did it the right way, and it's paid off. The Knicks need to take a page out of the Nets book, and it will work out. Because eventually, people will want to come play for the Knicks. Because eventually they're going to be like, oh, this team's not only is it a good team, but it's the Mecca, right?
Yeah, but you say that, and like you also have to realize something too, that like people don't know. Personally, I don't know the Knicks. Don't. Why? Because the man doesn't show face, and like that's cool. People know the Knicks. The Knicks owner is a clown.
It'd be better off if you didn't know the Knicks owner.
Exactly. The point. So, like, you're telling me a superstar athlete's going to want to come and play into New York. Yeah, no problem. But I'm not going to go play for the Knicks because I don't like that guy. I'll go play for the Brooklyn Nets. It's a New York team. It's the same thing. I don't know. You're right as far as, like, the whole building process and how it's been going. That, and like I said, I'm a realist, and the way that things have been going have been nice. But I'll kind of want to see like what would happen if we got past like the first round, and like we saw that one year and I was like, holy shit. And then we got our fucking shit pushed in because Roy Hibbert wanted to make one play entire career, and he put his hand in the rim and blocked Carmelo Anthony on a dunk. I was like, you know what? That's it. That's what I'm going to hang my hat on.
That team was never going to win. They didn't have enough pieces around Melo.
But it was a magic story.
Oh, it was great. It was cool.
You had Iman Shumpert, Raymond Felton, Amari Stoudemire,
a bunch of what do they call it? A bunch of misfits. Misfits. Surrounded by a superstar, right?
Oh my god! And those guys wanted the ball and they wanted to play.
Yeah, that was a nice story. But again, that team played really well all regular season, and they went up against. I mean, that Indy team was good. I mean, you can't take that away. That team had some talent. Danny Granger, Paul George, Roy Hibbert. That was a good team. I think that team should have even beaten the Heat. Yep, Lance Stevenson. I thought that team should have even beaten the Heat that year, in the East Conference Finals. But
oh my god, but they were gassed. They had nothing left.
They
got dogged.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about going up against the greatest player of all time in the prime of his life. Again, one of the best shooting guards to ever hit the floor. Yeah. No, I know. All right. No chance.
Listen, I think that we skip the NBA MVP race talk because we don't have enough in there.
I'm in.
Jump to baseball for a little bit.
I do just want to say one thing, and I'm not a fan, but nobody's talking about it in NBA circles. But I think DeMar DeRozan has a chance to sneak his way into the MVP conversation. That's my dark horse for MVP.
Okay.
Everybody's talking about Giannis, whatever, Curry, Durant, whatever, but keep an eye on that. Let's go to baseball.
I like that. Let's go to baseball. We don't have baseball this year, so let's go to that.
So I heard today on the radio, Jeff Passan, huge writer for the MLB, if you follow baseball at all. Jeff Passan is he's mentioning that a deal isn't close necessarily, but the pieces for a deal to work are on the table. He is not sure if we're going to get games taken away from spring training, but he's pretty confident that the season's going to happen and the games are going to get played and nothing's going to get lost in the regular season. I see you have here that the players union proposed $100 million to pay the top 30 players in the war category. That's like a bonus incentive kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's like the like the players seeking $105 million in the pool, and then MLB captured with it, and they're like, yeah, about that money, let's just make it 10 million. Like, how do we go from a high number to a low number, and like we're gonna call it that we're making progress and it's close? It's not close. Not even close.
I think what baseball is afraid of is they're afraid to raise the stakes money-wise. Like, as far as I know, the luxury tax threshold hasn't been moved near the $210 million in like 15 years or something crazy like that, which is outrageous. Baseball, and everybody talks about how baseball's boring, and baseball is loaded with money, dude. Absolutely flush with cash. The TV stations are paying up the ass to get their rights to play these games on their stations. And I think it's absolutely absurd that the players are not getting a piece of the money. It's bullshit, honestly. This is the same thing that happens all the time with all these things. NFL, NBA, you know what? The owners are fucking greedy as shit, and they need to get off their fucking high horse and need to give some of the money to the players, because guess what? We're not going to the fucking stadium to watch the owners play baseball. We're not going there for that. We're going to watch the players.
So they came to an agreement. They came to a small agreement. So, like when you're within like your first couple of years and in the minors, right? Your minimum salary was $570,000. They did increase it, so they agreed on that. So now players will get $615,000 starting, which I think is nice. You know what? Like,
hey, that's a nice chunk of change.
Progress, nice chunk of change, small progress. But you are right. I'm not sitting here to go watch a nerd play baseball. Looking to watch a professional athlete play baseball. Everybody wants to talk about analytics and the stats and all that stuff. And when at the end of the day, it comes down to a number, and that number is a dollar sign. You know, I'm a season ticket holder. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm happy about what the things are happening, what's going on, but I'll give you like a little breakdown. So being a season ticket holder for the Yankees, obviously with the whole COVID situation and that shortened season, I didn't get my money back. That money was then rolled over into the following year. So I paid half of what I would normally pay for the following year, which again was fine.
That's nice.
But they want your money.
Of course they do.
Your money, and they're not going to let it go. Now, hear me out. What they're doing now, and I thought this was a crazy thing. I was talking to my dad yesterday about how, and we're going to get to the Hall of Fame in a moment. But I was talking to my dad. I was like, Dad, like they haven't even come to an agreement on if they're going to have a season or not, or if it's going to even start on time. I was like, doesn't it blow your mind? I get emails every day of promoting opening day, and opening day is in April. How could you promote a product if you don't have one?
They don't care. They want their money.
He was also telling me that it was said that if you had spring training game, okay, you pay full price for a ticket. We'll do even number, $100 for a ticket. If spring training has to be accelerated, you're only going to see 4 to 5 innings, and you're still paying the $100. You're not getting your money back. And if spring training is canceled, they will be taking your money. You will not get a refund. You'll be allowed to go to the following spring training season. The next.
You want a hot take?
I'm listening.
You want a hot take? Spring training should be free. That's a hot take. You make enough. I mean, you make enough money, right? How much? I mean, when you go look at spring training, the stands aren't full.
No.
You go look at spring training, stands aren't full.
School, you got old timers that are retired to go watch a spring training game.
Spring training should be free.
It's in the middle of a work week. It's prime time, whether it was in the afternoon at 12 or 1, and they're playing in warm weather in Florida. Who lives in Florida? Retired people.
And I'm going to tell you right now, we have now back where when I used to live up in Rockland, there's a small time little baseball stadium up there, and the tickets are like $8-10 to go see a game, right? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with charging $8-10? The stadium is not packed to the brim every night because it's it's a Can-Am affiliate team, but it's a nice time out. People go. If people get a chance to go see the Yankees for $8 a ticket, the stands are going to be packed, and they're going to go, and every game's going to be sold out. And then you don't care if you lose your money for it because it was $10.
First of all, spent $100.
That's a lot of money.
Judge. Wait. Go see Aaron Judge get one plate appearance. And you're going to go see the minor leaguers who are probably going to be bagging groceries at the end of spring training because they either got cut or they ain't making the majors. So what are you really watching? What are you watching? Nothing. Like, I understand the whole concept of getting ready for the season. You know, pitchers and catchers are legitimately supposed to be happening in 2 weeks.
Yep.
That ain't going to happen. And then obviously the position players follow. Currently, that's not happening. So the whole lockout thing, like, we need to be adults about this. And you know what? We're going to talk about the writers in a minute too. But like these people that are reporting these things and how things are coming along, are they really coming along? No. We're at a standstill. And I would be very shocked if baseball did start on. It's not going to overnight. Someone's going to wave the magic wand and say, okay, here we go. It's not going to happen. It's not. And we've seen this, I believe, what was it, 1994? When the lockout happened? Was it 90? 94.
It might have been 94. The 94-95 season.
Yeah. It's been done. So like no one's scared.
It could happen. You saw it happen in football. It happened in basketball. In 2012, they lost like a third of the year. They played like 60 games. It happens. It happens in every sport. Players want money, and owners don't want to give it to them. That's every sport. And you know what? I've had enough of it. I've had enough. I can't. Owners are greedy, and I mean they're owners for a reason, right? Because that's how they are with their money. They got there for a reason. They don't want to give their money away. I get that, but you know what? These are your employees, and they deserve to be compensated fairly. That's my opinion. Moving on.
We had a comment of steroids should be legal in all sports, and we're gonna dive into that now as far as like Hall of Fame goes. So like the Hall of Fame announcement was last night, and I was looking for more names to be pulled to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. However, only one name was pulled for the Hall of Fame. And it kind of blows my mind that one guy was selected where he was also within the talks of the PED use. And David Ortiz gets in, and you don't have a Barry Bonds or Roger Clemens get in because of what? They have like black mark on their name. Kind of crazy. What do you think?
So I have a couple things. Before we go crazy, you guys all know that I'm a Yankee fan. You know Jay's a Yankee fan. This has nothing to do with David Ortiz as a player. With me, anyway. I don't like David Ortiz as a Red Sox, but I'm a realist. He's a fantastic baseball player. One of the best the Red Sox have ever seen, right? Guy can't field for shit, but like he can hit the ball. But why are we not talking about one of the greatest offensive players the game has ever seen? Home run leader, one of the greatest guys to ever be at the plate. And you know what? I heard something today. And I mean, it's got to be true because I heard it was from a legitimate place. I heard that a few years ago, they changed the amount of years you were allowed to be on the ballot. Used to be 15 years.
Yeah, they changed it to 10.
It is now 10 years.
10 years.
And why do you think the Hall of Fame decided to change it from 15 to 10 years, Jay Lambs? Do you have any idea why they might do that?
So the old people that are currently voting are still alive to keep the bad people, or the bad people in air quotes, out. So when they die, they're like, oh, you're coming out with me, and that's it.
You hit the nail on the head, because I heard a stat today. There have been 58 new writers since that change, right? Or, you know, within the last, I don't know, however many years. 51 of those 58 writers put Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, and Curt Schilling on the ballot to be elected to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So now that those people are on the final year of their ballot, instead of having 5 more years, which in 5 years they probably would be inducted into the Hall of Fame, because nowadays people like you and I don't give a shit about PEDs. It was a part of baseball. Put the guys in the Hall of Fame. Why are we trying to?
It made baseball fun to watch. I'll tell you what. And like, I watched the documentary. I don't know if you ever have watched the documentary. The Mark McGwire Sammy Sosa documentary of the.
It was lit.
That was lit. We lived through that.
Okay? That was lit, bro. What?
Watching Barry Bonds get up, every plate appearance was like on ESPN. Like, you needed to watch the man bat because you wanted to see how far he was going to hit the baseball, or you wanted to see if they were going to intentionally walk him with the bases loaded, may I add. So they were giving up a run because teams are that crazy about it. I'll tell you what, and I thought it was funny that you said that they changed the years. They changed the years, but if you notice, if you go back, after the 10th year, people started to trend upward. So people started to get more votes after the 10th year, and then they started to get in. If you go back to the numbers, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens started up. Kurt Schilling, on the other hand, trended down.
He's a different story.
Because of his antics. And he also went to the writers and said, do not vote for me. I don't want to be a part of this. So he did not want to be in the Hall of Fame. And you know what? He's got his own issue. But if you would have looked, I think that if they had the 15 years, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds would probably be in at their 12th year of eligibility. They probably would have gotten in. But no, we sit here now, 10 years, and they're shut out. However, I don't know if you've been to Cooperstown. Have you been to Cooperstown recently?
Not recently. It was probably about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe 8.
They're in the museum.
Yeah,
my God.
Of course they're in the museum. Of course they are.
They just don't have a plaque. So how is it that Cooperstown can have you in the museum but not give you a plaque to recognize you of who you are?
Because the MLB and the Hall of Fame is a fraud. It's fraudulent. The whole thing is fraudulent. To be a member of the Hall of Fame, there's a clause in the Hall of Fame writing and election process. You got to be a good guy. Where the fuck did you need to be a good guy to be a Hall of Famer? There are guys from 100 years ago that were complete scumbags that are in the Hall of Fame. Why are they not out, if that's the case?
Harold Baines is in the Hall of Fame. How the fuck is Harold Baines in the Hall of Fame? Now,
Babe Ruth was known as a drug womanizer, and he's in the Hall. Like, where does it become that everything is fluent and consistent? That's what I want to know with baseball. Why are we treating baseball like it's this holier than thou sport all of a sudden? I don't get it.
They're gonna call it holy, and they're gonna call it. It's like America's pastime, but America's society these days seem it as what? Boring. Nobody wants to go watch baseball. Nobody wants to watch because it's so stagnant, slow. People love watching football. Granted, you don't watch much football. You're probably watching probably 15 to 20 minutes of actual football, even though it takes 4 hours to watch a game. You don't watch basketball. It's constant moving. Hockey, it's constant moving. Baseball is so different because they want to cure the old and just want to make sure that it doesn't be changed in any way. But you know what? You need to. Pete Rose isn't allowed into the Hall of Fame because the man bet on baseball. You literally have the most Cy Young winner, the most home runs, and the most hits are not in the Hall of Fame. Why? Because of PEDs, other possible steroids, and gambling.
Get over yourself. That's what I say to the writers.
To
you old fucks that are get off my lawn, guys, get over yourself. There needs to be some type of committee that has come up with new aged writers, maybe guys from the past that aren't involved in the game any longer, executives. They need to come up with some type of committee of maybe 100 guys that come up and they vote for this. And I think that needs to be done because what's being done right now is absolutely asinine. These guys don't know their ass from their elbow. They're biased. And all they know is that they don't like steroids. And guess what? Big Papi, he hasn't been quote unquote confirmed to have done steroids, but his name was on the list. So why is he special? Why is he special?
Because he was so kind and open to the media. Mark McGwire went to court. He if you watch the documentary, he was open about what he was taking and everything like that. That man went to the legal system and got dragged through it. You know what, too? Barry Bonds gets a bad rap. Back then, that man was the face of steroids. Other people took steroids. Other people. You had the Juice Brothers where Mark McGwire was on the Athletics. Jose Canseco showed him how to take steroids, all this stuff. But Barry Bonds was noted to be the steroid king. Why? And now down the line, people are like, oh, well, Barry Bonds really wasn't a guy. He wasn't this or he really wasn't that. Why? All of a sudden things are going to change because of years? I can't, dude. I really can't. And to say that David Ortiz didn't take PEDs, get the fuck out of here. Now, listen, there are photos where Barry Bonds where he played for the Pittsburgh Pirates to where he played for the San Francisco
I mean,
Giants
look,
are
he
tremendously
did it. He
different.
did it. He did
Yeah.
it. Right. It's obvious he did it. But get off of the high horse. You're not just going to omit 15 years of baseball. You're talking about 15 of the best years of baseball. And I'm looking at, I literally have the ballot pulled up right in front of me. So you need 70%, I believe, or 75% to get in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the number.
I think
Barry
it's
Bonds,
73 point something.
so Barry Bonds is at 66.
Yeah.
Like there are
A-Rod got 62, I think, on his first time on the ballot.
So A-Rod, this was his first year on the ballot this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is okay. So this is the most jarring to me, outside of the fact that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens didn't make the Hall of Fame. Alex Rodriguez could be considered among a lot of people, outside of him being a jerk, one of the greatest baseball players of all time. He was a 5-tool player, multiple 50 home run seasons, multiple 30 and 40 steal seasons, played some of the best shortstop and third base you've ever seen, hit 300 consistently.
Switch positions to come to New York. Shortstop his entire time. And then it was like, yo, Jeter, you play there? I'll go play third.
David Ortiz received 307 votes.
That's
Alex Rodriguez received 135 votes. That's an absolute disgrace.
That's awful.
David Ortiz couldn't shine Alex Rodriguez's shoes. No disrespect meant to David Ortiz.
But
that's just how good A-Rod was.
Watching those games, watching Boston Red Sox and Yankee games growing up, like you prayed that there was a fight. I remember vividly. There was a fight in the dugout. I remember when Pedro Martinez threw Don Zimmer on the ground. I remember when A-Rod got in Jason Varitek's face. I remember all that. Where was David Ortiz? He was probably sitting there talking to the media and just like.
I'm going to tell you right now. That was no disrespect to David Ortiz. I'm looking at the numbers and everything. I don't mind he's in the Hall of Fame. He's got numbers. He was a hitter, man. He was a hitter.
He was a DH. He was a DH.
All right,
that was it.
But DH should be in the Hall. DH is a part of baseball.
I agree. No, I agree. Right? I agree. But I'm saying to you is that like the man just hit, and like, that was it. Like I also find it funny too that you see here Pete Rose was a gambler and shouldn't be in.
This segment was brought to you by DraftKings. But I mean, if Alex Rodriguez doesn't get hurt in his early 30s, he goes on to hit more home runs than ever before. He breaks Barry Bonds' record. Changed my mind.
I'll tell you what too, and obviously Ken Griffey Jr. is in the Hall of Fame, and like that man is the GOAT.
If he doesn't get hurt, I agree.
He doesn't get hurt,
I agree.
Or if they did not have that lockout season, he's the home run.
He was sweet, dude. He was sweet.
Oh my god, that swing was such a good
swing. But I mean, like, you look at a guy like Alex Rodriguez, right? And maybe I'm being a homer. Whatever. I don't really care. But like, he was the best. He might be talent-wise the best player of all time.
Yeah, no.
I mean, and he's getting less than half the votes of a guy like David Ortiz.
Because, and I'll tell you what it is, it becomes a political party
it's
where it's
such
like,
bullshit.
It's outside. Like,
it's so
you did this,
stupid.
You did that. You were dating J-Lo, or you were engaged to J-Lo, and like that's not like whatever. It has to do. It's about fandom. Is what it comes down to. I will say this though, and like we'll hit 2 more points before we go.
Yep.
2 more things. 1, Barry Bonds has more walks in the Tampa Bay Rays franchise.
Isn't that something? That's insane.
The man also hit 73 home runs in that season where he has 73. He struck out 93 times. How many walks do you think he had like in that?
He had an unbelievable amount of walks. I don't know the number. You might know if you have it in front of you.
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me.
What year? Let me. That was 2000 and what? 4? 2000 and.
Well, Barry Bonds hit the homers.
Yeah.
70 home run season.
That
was
2001.
2001.
Okay.
2000.
All right. Let me look up.
You can look up his stats. Ridiculous. So Barry Bonds.
All right. So 2001 stats. Let me see here. 2001. He hit the 73 home runs. He was walked. Now he was walked even more the next year.
Oh yeah,
He was walked
2004. He was walked 230. So what the fuck are we talking?
That's an insane number. 177 times.
Yeah.
Now, those that don't know, I've not played baseball a lot in my life, but I know what EDs do. PEDs make you bigger and stronger, right? Now, when you become bigger and stronger, you become a little faster, right? Obviously, you're quicker to be able to move you're stronger, so you move a little quicker. But that doesn't make you a better hitter. PEDs don't make you magically hit the ball better. Make you hit the ball farther when you hit it.
Of course.
But it don't make you hit the ball better. So you got to be able to put the bat on the ball, which if I was going to calculate the most difficult sport in the world to do, main sports, I'm going to say hitting a baseball is pretty hard. Might be the hardest thing you have to do to play a sport, in my opinion. Yeah. I think putting a ball in a basket is way easier. I think throwing a football and catching a football is way easier. Now, I mean, you're getting hit, so that's a little different. But I think putting
a puck into a hockey goal.
I mean, that's pretty hard. But,
I mean, I'm not good at it, but I can only imagine
I think
you're controlling it as opposed to it coming out.
I think putting a bat on a ball that's coming at you at 95 plus miles an hour, I don't think there's something harder to do. Maybe be a goalie in hockey. It might be harder.
Lacrosse goalie is really hard.
So I mean, we're talking about you have to be uber talented to be able to do that, regardless of how strong you are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe Barry Bonds doesn't hit moonshots into the lake, Gulf. Right?
The Cubby Cove.
But is he still hitting the ball? Yeah, he's gonna still hit the ball. He's gonna still hit home runs. Yeah, maybe not 73, but I guarantee you he's hitting 55 or 60. Oh, it was wild. Yeah.
The boat rental people must have made fortune when they fucking realized that this man was. Oh my god.
Boku.
Hitting balls in the Cubby Cove. I'm done.
Well, we've unpacked a lot today. We've unpacked a lot.
Yeah.
We did.
I'm excited to see what happens next week.
Listen, like we talked about, we talked about football playoffs. We talked about basketball at state that it's at right now. And we talked about the lockout. We talked about the Hall of Fame voting. I think we have a lot to look at over the course of the next week. Obviously, we're going to open the show next week with football talk again. We're going to talk about the championship games. We're going to talk about who we have in the Super Bowl. We're probably going to do a 2-week segment on football, obviously, because the Super Bowl isn't going to happen next week. It'll happen the week after. But we'll definitely have.
Can we introduce?
I mean, listen, I'm in boxes, but if you guys listen, if you guys are whoever's in the chat, if you guys are interested in doing Super Bowl boxes, I will set that up right now, and we can do it, and I will have it.
That'd be nuts. That'll be some shit.
We do, and we could do cheap. We could do, whatever. We could do, $5-10 buy. Doesn't have to be crazy, Nah,
yeah, for
but
sure.
a $5 box is $500 in the pool. So you guys, we'll think about it. I'll put some feelers out. Maybe put it in your Discord. I'll put it in my Discord. We'll see what we got. You Venmo me or Jay the money, and we'll get it going. All right. But for me, I'm not going anywhere.
Nah, I'm out though. Listen,
this
I had a blast doing this, and I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you letting me on this. So the vibes. Listen,
Jay Lamps, it was a blast. We're gonna do this again next week, Wednesday, 8:00. We're probably gonna try to cut it a little bit from 9:30.
Yeah.
But we
listen, a late start.
We did get a late start. We started about 10 minutes late. We had to introduce the show and stuff like that. So we're going to try to get a little bit better on our time. But ultimately, 1K minimum a box. Are you out of your mind? Dude, I put in two $50 boxes, and I thought I was a big baller.
That's a lot.
Anyhow,
I'm with it.
Jay Lamps, I appreciate you for hanging out.
Maddie, I'm out, bro. Catch you later. Bye, chat.